sobre cómo podemos o cómo podemos darle honor a la vida del Papa Benedicto XVI en nuestra vida como religiosos, como laicos, pero también con nuestro testimonio en la iglesia. ¿Qué le podrías decir a la audiencia?
I would like to say to the priests and faithful, take the legacy of Pope Benedict serious, especially his main concern for the faith, so that the Catholic faith, it's unchangeable. Since the apostles, we have to have this concern and zeal to live personally the fullness, the integrity of Catholic faith, to teach it to the people and to defend the Catholic faith. So his episcopal motto of Benedict XVI as a bishop, Ratzinger, he chose these words of the letter of St. John the Apostle, cooperatores veritatis in Latin. It is collaborators, cooperators of the truth. So the truth is Christ, and the truth is the Church, with the unchanging teaching all over 2000 years. We have to keep this and transmit this and defend it is also. Defend, don't be afraid to defend the unchanging Catholic faith of all times. No pope, no synod can change the Catholic faith. Under no pretext, no ambiguity are allowed to change the Catholic faith.
Bienvenidos a Conoce, Ama y Vive tu Fe. Este es el programa donde compartimos el Evangelio y profundizamos en las bellezas y riquezas de nuestra fe católica. Les habla su amigo y hermano Luis Román y quisiera recordarles que no podemos amar lo que no conocemos y que solo vivimos lo que amamos. Y en el día de hoy me acompaña un rostro muy conocido que yo sé que ustedes conocen y ya hemos tenido aquí en el programa. Es su excelencia el obispo Atanasio Schneider, Monseñor Atanasio Schneider, a quien queremos muchísimo. Y pues hoy vamos a estar hablando del legado de Benedicto XVI, vamos a estar hablando de muchísimas cosas. Creo que va a ser un programa muy enriquecedor. Y algo distinto que vamos a hacer en el día de hoy, por razones de tiempo y logística, yo voy a estar haciendo las preguntas en español y el Monseñor Schneider las va a contestar en inglés. Yo voy a colocar subtítulos en español en las respuestas de él. Incluso también voy a colocar la transcripción en un link más abajo para los que quieran leerla, pues así la pueden leer las respuestas del Monseñor Schneider. Pero no se vayan cuando empiecen a escuchar el inglés porque vamos a tener las letras justo debajo para que ustedes los puedan entender. To the audience that speak English, welcome to my program. Today we have the Excellency Monseñor Atanasio Schneider in our program. And usually this program is in Spanish. My episodes are all in Spanish. I have a few in English. So today we're going to do it bilingual. I'm going to ask the questions in Spanish. And Your Excellency is going to respond in English. So we're going to have subtitles in both languages. So both people that are in our show right now watching it in English or want to understand Spanish, either or, you will be able to benefit of this great interview. So first of all, Monsignor Atanasio Schneider, welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. How you doing?
Thank you for the invitation. God bless you.
Thank you, thank you. A mí me gustaría, Monseñor, pues que comencemos con una oración, si no es problema, para que podamos encomendar el programa a la Santísima Virgen María y al Señor, a nuestro Señor Jesucristo.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
Amén.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostre. Amen. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sic ut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
Amén. Gracias, Monseñor. La primera pregunta que quisiera hacerle, yendo ya al grano, ¿cuál es el mayor impacto que causó Benedicto XVI en su vida personal y su vocación como sacerdote y luego como obispo?
The first thing is, as a priest, and I always had a deep esteem of Cardinal Ratzinger, especially what he wrote about the liturgy. This was my first impact. Even I wrote as a young student his book, The Feast of the Faith, in German, Das Fest des Glaubens, which he wrote 40 years ago, and where he already established the sound traditional principles, what does mean liturgy. And there he already 40 years ago, he defended the necessity to celebrate a Holy Mass towards the Lord, to be and to have more elements of reverence, sacred music, Gregorian chant in the celebration of the liturgy. And this marked me deeply as a young student. This his first book on liturgy. And then also his other historical, I would say, book. It was the Report about the Faith, so-called, in 85, where he very clearly identified the causes of the crisis of the church, which is a crisis of faith. So, and then his various other interventions as a prefect of the congregation to defend the faith, especially about the errors of the theology of liberation, since I lived in the 80s in Brazil, and I experienced the very negative influence of the theology of liberation in the life of the church, damaging the faith and the liturgy and politicizing the entire Catholic life and faith. So these interventions about theology of liberation also influenced me and strengthened me when I was living in Brazil. And then, of course, as a pope, to the second part of your question, his legacy, to my opinion, his pontificate is characterized will be, to my opinion, for all history, in his historical document, Summorum Pontificum, about the traditional liturgy, where he again solemnly affirmed that the traditional liturgy was never abrogated, and the traditional liturgy of the Mass has the same right, the same appreciation in the Church as the Novus Ordo. This was a historical document, and I think the most important of all his pontificate.
I completely agree, Your Excellency. Completely agree. Thanks to that document, I was able to learn and know the traditional Latin Mass. I didn't know, and I was born and raised as a Catholic, and I didn't know there was another way to celebrate Mass. And it was, the one that we always had. I wanted to reiterate that point in my second questions. And basically, I'm going to say in Spanish in a moment, but why do you believe that exactly that you just said? Why do you believe that the greatest and most beneficent act of the pontificate of Benedict XVI was the motu proprio Summorum Pontificum? ¿Por qué, en su opinión, el acto mayor y más beneficioso del pontificado de Benedicto XVI fue el motu proprio Summorum Pontificum?
Well, because we have to know the circumstances, because after the council, but at least after the introduction of the new Mass in 69-70, Pope Paul VI basically forbade the celebration of the traditional Mass. The traditional Mass was considered as something forbidden. And so in such a situation, and then John Paul II slowly open the door, not so much for the possibility